Good evening. Good evening. We are back. It's been a while, but we left you as Let's Rap About It Wednesdays, featuring your host, Lakeisha McGaney-Osei, and we are still rapping about it on Wednesdays. We are looking forward to the rebranding and updating you all as we switch over to Joy is Just Over Yonder podcast. And so we will be able to now feature all of our wonderful wellness interviews and convos with our special guests through different podcast platforms. And so this will be one of the first interviews that you will see transcribed over with my special guest today, Miss Marissa D. McKinnies. Welcome,
Hey,
welcome.
thank
I am
you.
so excited to be back live with our convo interviews. Again, these are wellness conversations that you have right in your living room with your girlfriends, your family. We cover different topics within that lifestyle of wellness.
Yes.
I again am your host, Lakeisha McGaney-Osei, founder of Joy is Just Over Yonder, which is my wellness umbrella. And I also serve as a master reflexologist and the owner of I Touch Souls, author, poet, speaker, and wellness collaborator who is here to bring the wellness convos to you so that you can have helpful information and most of all to let you know that whatever it is you're going through, you're not going through it alone. And one of our experts here on the show has either gone through it or assisted individuals gone through it. So we will be bringing you a wealth of knowledge and information as we enter season 5.
Wow.
Yes. So again, we welcome you, Miss Marissa. Miss Marissa has some special ties to me. She is not only one of my military brats, but she is one of my sorors of Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated.
Incorporated.
Yes, ma'am. So I just love having my sorors on, and especially my brat family who are not only into wellness. And when we say that, whether you're a health coach, a nutritionist, a trainer, a counselor, whatever it is that you're doing to help people increase their overall wellness. And that is inside and out. It's not all about just building muscles. It is, building your mental capacity, your emotional capacity. It covers so many wells, which is why we cover many of those wells during Wrapped in Wellness, which you'll hear about a little bit later. But tonight, we are going to allow our guest, Miss Marissa, who is a phenomenal mother, a community activist,
Thank you.
who is doing a lot of work in the community and has a very special topic that she's going to be sharing with us tonight. And it is called From the Journey from Hurt
To
to
healing.
Heal.
Yes.
So, Miss Marissa, I want you to go ahead and introduce yourself to the people and tell us a little bit about this journey.
Well, there's not much else I can say. You gave me such a beautiful introduction. So, a little bit about me. Yes, I am a military brat, tried and true. Both of my parents served in the Air Force and retired. And it has brought me the most fulfilling life because I met some of the most wonderful and amazing people. We're an elite crew. While there may be 14 million of us, 14 million is elite compared to the 6.9 billion people they have on this earth. But this has given me the opportunity to see the world through a different lens. And I'm so grateful to mom and dad for affording me that lifestyle. I have a family, a beautiful family. I'm a mother of 3 wonderful children and 1 bonus child. And I have 2 granddaughters who are the apples of my eye right now. So I love the journey that I'm on right now. I am now a single woman and I have embarked on this journey from hurt to healing because of a divorce that I went through. Unfortunately, many of us have gone through that.
Yes.
And, when you go through something of that level, it's always important to take time and reflect, especially when persons like myself have went through a divorce that was not just emotionally damaging, but it was also based on abuse. It was mental abuse. It was a spiritual abuse. It was spiritual death. And it was some physical abuse. And so when you're enduring things like that, you have to take time in order to acknowledge what you've gone through, accept what you've gone through, and then attack what you've gone through. And
Mhm.
so, with this in mind, that's how I got on my journey from hurt to healing. Here's the caveat to that. On your journey to hurt and on your journey from hurt to healing, I'm getting tongue tied. There is no exit sign.
Mm.
People think that once you start it, that there's a finish. There's never a finish.
Oh, wow.
When you enter that door and when you're on that journey, there is no exit sign. You're consistently reworking and working, because you'll find out that there were little things that happened along the way that may set you back. And you have to reset yourself and go back and deal with that. And it's a continuous process. And of course, as you go through life, you're always going to encounter other things. So that's how I got on my journey, and that's why I am so focused today on helping others try to understand what this journey is about, and to decide to go through it and just to allow themselves to experience whatever it is that you have to endure in order to get yourself mentally and emotionally to a place where you can accept love into your life again.
Ma'am, I have to go back to there is no exit sign.
Yes.
We got to put a stop sign right there. There is no exit sign. That was powerful. It
Yes.
truly was. And I can say I can relate to having gone through a divorce, and probably in a very untraditional way, because I was separated so long before I actually like finalized the divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Um and we're talking a decade. And so
Oh, mine
it
was
was,
3 years. So a
yeah,
decade, you got me beat.
yeah. And so, married on paper, technically 22 years, but that first decade of living your life trying to build out a marriage, 3 children from the marriage, and feeling like you need to do all you can to fight for it, and
Yes.
have it survive, because
Yes.
you don't want your children to be the product of a
Of a
single
broken
parent
family.
home.
Yes.
Yes. And so there is some guilt that comes with that. For me, I carried some guilt for that for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
So even once I, broke and separated, I still kind of operated in my own island.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and, despite the more emotional and verbal abuse, there was an incident of physical abuse as well, but
Yeah.
it was mainly the verbal and the mental abuse of, you put
They
on
say sticks and stones will break your bones, but words will never hurt you. That's a lie.
it is definitely a lie.
Because a bruise will heal.
Yes, it will.
Mm-hmm.
In
A
the
bruise will
strong,
heal.
those of us who walk around looking the strongest,
Yes.
we wear masks very well.
And let
And
me and let me speak about that.
yeah,
So, I used to tell myself, because initially, my ex-husband he was verbally abusive. He was emotionally abusive. And I suffered from that for so long. And it wasn't until the first time, because it happened twice, the first time that he put his hands on me, that I said, okay, maybe I'm being abused. But I couldn't see that before until he put his hands on me.
right.
I didn't feel that I was authorized to label myself as being in an abusive relationship, because there was no physical
Because
abuse.
it wasn't physical.
Hmm.
Yes.
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 So I
Believe me,
completely.
I believe a lot of people operate, unfortunately, under that
Mhm.
premise that if it's not physical, then you really ain't been abused yet.
That's
Like,
right.
there's
That's
no
right.
physical scar. It was kind of like, even last year experiencing a severe concussion from a car accident.
Mm-hmm.
But I didn't walk away with a cast or my face all bruised up. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
have anything physically anyone could see, but it was so debilitating
Oh my goodness,
to my
yes.
mind, to my spirit, to suffer it. But from the outside, other people like, there ain't nothing wrong with you. You look fine to me. And
Yeah.
it's very similar because you don't physically see the effects that it's having on a person.
So
We
then
have a way
we
of
become our own
defining.
victims.
Yes,
We
yes.
become our own victims because we feel guilt, we feel shame, and we're a little bit confused because we don't understand that we too are suffering of some sort. And we have a right to say, no, I'm suffering too, even though you can't see it on the outside. There's still pain that's going on in here. There's still pain that's going on in here. And so
Right.
we find ourselves being victimizing our own self. And that's something that I had to learn, and it actually was my in-law that pointed that out to me.
Mm,
That she actually told me, she was like, sis, you've been abused. And I'm like, no, I haven't. She goes, no, you've been abused. And this is my in-law. And
right.
she broke it all the way down to me, and she was the one that had to come to me to help me understand I needed some counseling. I needed some emotional and spiritual healing. I needed to look myself in the mirror and tell myself the truth. This happened to you, you know?
Right.
And so that when I got on that path, I mean, I am 7 years free now. So 10 years if you count the 3 years it took to get divorced, but I'm
Hmm.
7 years free. And in this, it's like I'm still consistently reminding myself of things like the dating life.
Mm,
When I meet people, if something as simple as a scent,
mm,
a man wearing a cologne that reminds me of him, that can set me back. Because see,
right.
that's a mental thing. And so it has nothing to do with the physicality, it's the mental thing. And that would set me back. And I have to remind myself, this is not him.
Right.
This is not the situation. And it's those little things. So I said there's no exit sign. It continues. And it's
It-
not always that it's going to be all boo-hoo and you're going to be sad, eating yoo-hoos at the house and dark and all that. It's not like that. It's
right.
just you have to always keep yourself in check.
Absolutely. So let's talk about that, and because part of that, the healing process is moving on.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned dating,
Mm-hmm.
and opening yourself up to that, which I took a long time to do, and really, this is so crazy. Just really in the last 2 years, started
Yeah.
dating,
Mm-hmm.
other people and stuff. So it is, like you said, it's an ongoing process. And
Mm-hmm.
in my mind, I wasn't missing anything because I was like, I'm taking care of my family, I'm raising my kids, I'm working, I didn't feel like I was missing out.
Mm-hmm.
And then but in the last couple of years, I finally was like, you know what, why am I not, it's, I'm officially, free. She is free, so let's get out there, as my
Come
grandmother
on
said.
now. Somebody was looking for
Yes,
this good woman.
yes, somebody is definitely looking for this good woman. And so,
Yes.
and that reinforcement actually literally was told to me last night, like, you are such a good woman, like you're everything someone would be looking for,
Yeah.
like, and so it's good, that for yourself, but it is very reassuring to hear someone else say it as well, because
Yeah.
you do, as much as you, again, the strong woman mentality, nothing can break me down. Yes, it can. There is things that do break us down, and
Yes.
but that
Yes.
healing part, moving on from hurt to healing, is a magnificent road to be on.
It
So,
is.
when you looked at what other ways have you been able to heal on this journey?
Well, I wrote a book, And so the way that this came about is that the name of the book is Finding Her, Rediscovering the Beauty of Your Reflection. The way that this came about, honestly, is because it was during COVID, and there was a challenge to find a creative way to bring in some income. And I was a part of this women's group called Freedom Fridays. It was a group of entrepreneurs, African American entrepreneurs in San Antonio. And so our leader was like, she is this guru, sort of like you, entrepreneur, where she has some many diverse skills that brings her the financial freedom she's looking for. And so she challenged us to sit down and come up with a self-help book. She says it could be something short and sweet, but a little small self-help book, you could sell it for $5 or $10. You know, we're going to sit down and figure out the marketing strategy, blah, blah, blah. You can write it real quick, and then we could put it out there, and this is how you can bring yourself some income. And so I'm like, okay, a self-help book. And I'm trying to figure out, what self-help book am I going to write? And so I was going over all these different things that I know how to do. How can I monetize it and make it into a self-help book? But my daughter and I was talking about this. She goes, Mom, why don't you just write the book you've been talking about writing forever? Oh, I ain't got time to do that. And she was like, I'm quite sure there's a way. And so I started putting things together, and I was trying to think about what I wanted to write about. And then I started writing about my experience, or, you know, how I viewed myself after being a divorcee. And when I just started, you know, journaling a little bit, the Lord spoke to me and said, go to your journals. And I was like, go to my journals. What am I going to do with my journals? And I went and I got my journals and I opened them up. You know, I had already written a book. And even though the book I released was really small, I've written probably a novel-sized book if you compile all of my journals together. Right. And it was talking about the different things that I was experiencing. Like, I would be asleep at night. This is how I was going through my healing. This is how I knew I was ready to go on my journey. I'd be asleep at night, and these words would come to me, and I would just get up in the middle of the night and I would start writing. And I would write and write and write and write. And I could not finish until I got it all off my chest. When the pen went down, I would go to sleep, and I slept like a baby. These are poems, and these were short stories. But I just left them there. I did nothing with them. And so at this time, when I was trying to journal, the Lord says, go back to your journals. And I opened it up, and I realized there was my story, my self-help book. And he made it so clear to me, your purpose is to help, not to villainize. And so in my book, you'll notice it's a small book. It's only 72 pages. But in this book, it's just to express what I went through. It talked about the sin of doing what you know you're not supposed to do. When Daddy God is telling you not to do something, but you're going to do it anyway. Right. You got to suffer the consequences. So that's what this is about. I got married even though I was not supposed to marry this man. I say I married somebody else's husband because he wasn't for me. Right. He was my best friend, but he was not my lover. Right. He wasn't the love of my life.
I like the way you put that.
Huh?
I married someone else's. Yes.
I married somebody else's husband. That's what I say. And so, I mean, people think, oh, you was cheating. No, that's not what I mean. No. I mean that he wasn't for me. That wasn't my Adam. I wasn't his Eve. So we got married, and all the things that we went through, I wanted to express how God showed me, I shouldn't marry him. So if you read my book, you would know at the beginning, it was crazy, my wedding day. People, when they read this, it was like, oh my God, God did everything except for sit in your bed and tell you, girl, do not marry that man. So that, and then going through the marriage and trying to stay in the marriage because, well, dang, I've already married him, so I might as well go ahead and stay here. Right. And the things that I went through from that. And then finally getting a divorce, how that happened, getting into a relationship after that, and realizing I still wasn't healed. I still wasn't ready. And then how I had to put myself together again. So like Humpty Dumpty sat on the wall, Humpty Dumpty, how I had to put myself back together again. So this book, Finding Her, Rediscovering the Beauty of Your Reflection, it information about the journey that I went on. And there's prompts at the end of each of them. I got on my journey of healing by journaling. And I believe that anybody that is trying to figure out what's going on with them, or how to overcome what they're going through, a way to express themselves, I think journaling is a great way to do it. And so this will allow you to also journal and go through your journey along with me. And so that's how I came up with this book. Then this is one of my ways to healing. And when I finished putting this together all in one weekend, that's all it took. One weekend. Once I realized what I was going to do, it was 1 week, because it was already ready. It was
already written.
You know, God is hilarious.
Yes, he is. That we agree on. He truly is.
Yes.
And that goes to one of my favorite things. I don't know. Do I have the right? Even my coffee cup. Go be great. You are enough. And I tell people, it's like, you are enough right now. You have everything you need in you for this life right now. Yes. You might have to let some things mature. You might have to let some things marinate, but it's in you. It's in you. It's just what will be that one thing that sparks it, that brings it out. But you are definitely enough in all of your person and being right now to move forward. And you have tried that. And I'm definitely a person, like, I love writing. I can tell poetry. You're an awesome author. It just comes out naturally. And like you said, I looked at different books and journals that I collect, and I'm already writing pieces. Right now I'm on this haiku. Like, I call myself doing the haiku meme challenge, that I'm challenging myself. Like, there's certain memes, poetry memes that I see, and I look at it, and from that one thing, I can write 10 haikus. One morning I just sat there and wrote 22 haikus, which is why I'm coming out with Haiku Blues. But it's just the emotions, the feelings that come out, and watching people. I love love. Like, I have not given up on love. I know that I am a lovable person. I know that there is that person out there for me. And so sometimes people are calling like, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yes, poetry is a way that I just express myself." It doesn't mean that I'm down and out when everything you read, but it's just for me, it's such a lovely way to express yourself. And I know that at some point in time, someone is going through this emotion. So I just allow it to share freely with folks. And so I love how you took what you experienced, your own life journals, and created the premise for your book. Yes. Now, how can people get your book?
I'm on Amazon, so you can go to Amazon. You can search me. My author name is Marissa D. McKinnies, as it is here. Mm-hmm. And you put in Finding Her, Rediscovering the Beauty of Your Reflection. And so, and you can find me and pull it there. I'm also on Goodreads. I think on Goodreads, there's a link that you can still get to Amazon, but that is absolutely where you can find me. Or you can just send me a Cash App, and I'll autograph a book, and I will and I'll send it to you.
Awesome. So journaling is a way of healing, writing, getting your story out. Like they said, to your message to your ministry, you took their journey, was able to express it, and let it become a help book for other people. Mm-hmm. So in this next phase, as you see yourself in this next phase, because you mentioned how, initially when you started dating, you realized you weren't ready. Mm-hmm. How do you see yourself now? Even though there is no exit side, you still kind of, the premise of joy is just a reality. You're still on the other side. I'm on the other side. Yes. So now that you're on that other side.
So being on this side, I can tell you that I am finally comfortable to be alone. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you, God did not create me to be alone. Okay. I am destined to be a wife. because I like doing wifely things.
Yes.
Um,
I catch you.
so, I am finally at a point though that I can be by myself, alone with my thoughts, living life, as a grandmother, as a mother, as an employee, as an author, all these other hats that I wear, and still be content. And I realized that is the moment that I can say, okay, I'm ready to date. Right. When the only thing is on when I was in a place where the only thing on my mind was that I got to get married, I got to find a husband, I got to be attached. Christmas is coming. I need to have somebody I can give my gifts to. Who's gonna be my boo? I used to be that person,
right?
But now it's like, when it happens, it happens, because I want God to bring my Adam to me when Adam is ready and ready for me. Mm-hmm. And then when I'm ready to receive him, for instance, just today, well, not today. Well, yeah, it was yesterday, but it was early. I told a young man, not a young man, he's older than me. I told him, I said, hey, we're on two different paths. Mm. You're on the path where you're trying to complete yourself. You're still trying to get your things in order. I said, I prayed to God already. He knows who I want. Right. He knows what I want. He's going to bring me the person he has for me, but that person is going to have to already have this stuff together. Mm. I'm not taking no halfway man. See, me yesterday, when I say yesterday, I'm talking about in the past. Right. Me yesterday would have taken a halfway man. Because why? Oh, we can build him up. Oh, he has such great qualities, right? Mm-hmm. If he doesn't work, well, he'll be at home. He can cook for me. And I'll be comfortable because there's somebody that'll keep me warm at night. But me today says, no. If he can't provide for himself, he can't provide for me. Right. Okay. If he's still dealing with baby mama drama at this big old grown age, we can't be together. If I really want to attract the person that more like mirrors the man that I believe God wants for me, I have to be comfortable to say, okay, let me just make sure I continue to work on myself mentally, spiritually, and emotionally, and go about my Father's business, and then he'll bring that person to me. And that's where I am today.
Absolutely. And some people will be like, what does this have to do with wellness? Healing well. This is healing well. This is being well.
It's being well.
Certainly the mental well, because we have to have our mind and our mentality right. Yes, and ma'am. That you spoke very clearly on that, because the yesterday us, just being happy with anything. Mm-hmm. No, this is not. I just need a warm body.
That's right.
By my side. I was quite comfortable today with my 2 blankets piled up on me, keeping me warm.
Because look at this. It's all about energy. We have to be careful of the energy we allow in our circle. Yes.
Yes. Absolutely. And for me, energy is huge. Mm-hmm. It is huge. Mm-hmm. And I feel it, I exude it, you receive it. It's all around us.
Yes, ma'am.
And and so ma'am. The biggest thing usually is, are you going to listen to what it's saying to you?
Right.
Or are you going to decide that, what, just because I'm just going to go with it. So we know, we feel it, and it's just how we decide to process it.
So let me tell you. So I have a nonprofit called the Put Away Cancer Foundation.
Yes.
And on my page, I have this little excerpt that talks about the study of I just forgot it. Not epidemiology. What is it? I just forgot what the word is. I have to look it up. But there's a study. It starts with an E, and I can't remember. And the whole premise behind the study is that is a scripture that says, "As a man thinketh, so is he." Mm-hmm. And this particular word says healing and wellness. If you go to if you go to my Facebook page, Put Away Cancer, you'll see it there. It's the study of something that starts with an E. It says that there's a belief that if a person think themselves well, that those thoughts contribute to their actual healing. It doesn't say it will heal you. It says it contributes to their actual healing. And so they're training people to be careful of what they think when they're on a journey of health, so
Right.
that they can bring the right energy into their spirit to help them along their journey. And so I say that same thing when it comes to relationships, just as well when it comes to your mental and your spiritual health. Be careful of your energy. Anybody that you bring into your circle, be sure they're worthy to be in your space.
Yeah.
Because them ions and these protons and these atoms and stuff, they got to mix the right way, so that I'm not going to sleep at night in a big fit because I got things attacking me and I don't understand it. You know. And so that's why I am really careful also with who it is that I allow myself to connect myself with.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And it's interesting that you bring that up, because that attachment,
Mm-hmm.
you talk about soul ties.
Soul ties.
Them soul ties will tie you down.
Yeah.
And so a lot of times when people are looking, when they're on that journey and need to sever the one that is hurting, the one that is not for them, the soul ties keep you so connected.
Yes, ma'am.
And you have to discover that, you can release them and they can be released. But it's definitely a deep dive journey to do so.
It's a long journey.
It's a long journey to do so, And this is for people that, this, we're not talking about somebody you met a couple weeks ago. And, this is when you have soul ties, it's some deep, you have history together. You might have children together. There's a lot that goes into it. And so, for some, when people feel like, oh, it should be easy to walk away, it's not always. You can do it, but it takes some time. It does take some time sometimes. And
it takes some intention.
It does.
It takes
intentionality. Absolutely. Intentionality. And because today we're shooting this on a day where, just some terrible news came that, we're all mourning the loss of Twitch.
Oh my goodness.
I can't let this show go by without at least mentioning his name, honoring him, because the man again, beautiful soul, that
good energy,
very good energy, always exuded. When I saw his name, his picture go across, I was like, wait a minute, because for me it's like DJ, Ellen DeGeneres.
I remember him when he came out in that So You Think You Can Dance.
Yeah, and that's what a lot of people refer to. But it's like, for me, it was like him DJing on Ellen. That's when I feel like I first saw him, because I can't even really remember the show So You Think I Can Dance. So his name, he doesn't pop up for me, but DJing for Ellen, yes. Yeah. And so, but just always full of energy. And then even with Michelle Obama, the stuff he did with her. And so I'm like, wow, you just never know what people are going through. Again, that mental well is so important.
Let me tell you, mental health in our community, it is so taboo. It's just now coming that people are starting to talk about it more within our community. We're saying, hey, check on it, check on your loved ones. If you haven't seen them for a while, if you haven't taken 5 minutes to say, how are you doing, and actually taking time to listen to their response, do it now. Because in our community, especially with our men, they don't want to go to the doctor. They definitely not going to a shrink because they feel that that's taboo. You don't know what is going on in anybody's head, and you cannot take it for granted.
You cannot. And I'm telling you, that story, because I was not feeling well, looking at his face, I'm telling you, when I say, even though I took the rest I needed today and rested, But seeing that
Yeah.
motivated me. I said, I have to get up out of this bed.
Yeah.
I said, if I don't do anything else today, I'm going to do this interview with Marissa because I still have the breath of life in me.
Amen.
I
Yes,
still have
ma'am.
the breath of life in me. And there is someone who needs to hear this over the next week that may save their life,
Yeah.
that they can walk away,
Yeah.
that there is healing on the other side. Somebody needs to hear that this week.
Yes.
And so I can't keep that from them because I don't feel like getting up. Like when I tell you that man in his death motivated me to get up today out of that bed.
That's powerful.
And you never know what
You
it
never
will
know.
take, you know.
Let me tell you, and you don't know what it will take to get you motivated, but you also you also don't know that your mourning, that what you're going through could be that one thing to bless somebody else.
Absolutely.
Because let me tell you, Sobra, you are gorgeous. You look like you are worth $1 million, and you got everything going good in your life always. Like you have no problems, right? When I look at your posters and everything that you're putting out, I mean, everything looks like, wow, she's living a good life, which you are living a good life. But you would never think that you have problems like the next person because
Mm-hmm.
you don't talk about those problems.
Mm-hmm.
You don't put your everything into those problems.
Right.
But if a person would just sit down for 5 seconds and say, hey, so tell me what's going on with you. Have you ever had thoughts and feelings of being overwhelmed? What did you do to overcome that? Then they'll realize, oh, wait a minute, she's human too. Oh,
Absolutely.
she has issues too. But when we're going through it, we often don't think that anybody else is suffering the way we're suffering. We think it's
Absolutely.
just us, you know. So I mean, and that's the same thing. That's the same thing that I had to realize because while I'm on this journey from hurt to healing, I used to look out at everybody else. Like I used to look out at Beyonce and Jay-Z,
Mm-hmm.
celebrities, the perfect couple, right? And when I saw them and Tisha Campbell and Dwayne Martin, they were going through that. I was like, but they look so perfect,
Right.
right? They got everything going. Now you know celebrities be swinging and all that kind of stuff. I know that might happen, but they're not gonna get mad about it because they all got money. So who
Right.
cares, right? But when you heard the Eliminate album and you heard the distress, the anger, the
Mm-hmm.
frustration, the fed upness
Right.
from Beyonce, like, oh crap, she goes through the same stuff and she's gorgeous
Yes.
and she got everything going for her in her life, but she too is human. If we
Exactly.
just realize that it doesn't matter what a person looks like on the outside, we if you cut us all, we're gonna bleed. We
Yeah.
all have to go through issues. Just take the time, allow yourself to go through it. Talk to people if you need to talk to them, but realize it's not just you. There is nothing wrong with you at all. Well, there's
Mhm.
nothing wrong with you that makes you look like you got egg on your face. It's
Right.
a natural thing. It's called having a human experience.
Yes. And that's what they say. Check on your strong friends.
Check on your strong
Like,
friends.
yes, because because it's very true. Some people you're just not out there like that. But but yeah, life is happening to all of us.
Yes.
Life is happening to all of us.
Yes.
There are so many things that we go through that people just would never know. I think this is probably the first time publicly I even said that I was physically abused. Like,
Wow.
I have never said that publicly. I'm realizing in any form,
Wow.
you know but it is a reality.
Mm.
It is a reality.
It's a
It
reality.
happened. And life still goes on, but it's like when I look at other people, it's like no one would ever know that.
Mm-hmm.
No one. I mean, people still don't know a lot because I'm very intimate about what I share and who I share it with.
Mm-hmm.
But I realize that I don't share a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do have to, do have to find, whether it's through your writing, journaling, a trusted friend, whatever it takes for you to be able to have an outlet so
Yes.
that you are not keeping it and internalizing it to the point where you feel like you just can't take it anymore. You can't be here anymore.
Yes.
So you have to do and release those things. So
Another thing that you can do is
mhm.
service. You can give back. You can
Yes,
do community outreach events. Those
yeah.
tend to also help you go through your journey because you can see there's others that needs help. And when you find yourself being of service to other people, it humbles you and it helps to
Mhm.
center you. And that is another way that you can also help yourself overcome the things that you're going to, because I do that too. Giving back is one of my joys. I believe that God
Yes.
put us on this earth to serve each other. And so, one of the healthcare system that I used to work for in San Antonio, their tagline is serving humanity to serve God. And
Mhm.
so it's through our service of each other that we're serving God, the greatest. And so that's kind of how I've gone through living my life from day to day is I try to do everything I can to give back to the community because in doing that, that also helps uplift me and remind me, hey, things are not so bad because it could be worse, you know.
Absolutely.
It could be a whole
Absolutely.
lot worse. And
Yeah.
so yeah, that's another tool to help yourself in your journey.
Awesome. And we're going to take a quick break here and share with you all an event that is coming up. Not an event, because I don't call what I do events, but it is experience. And Wrapped in Wellness Experience actually will allow you all to be able to come and take part in a weekend of wellness that really does address a lot of these things. We were talking about energy earlier. We have a speaker that's coming who will be addressing, she will actually be doing a two-part session that Friday night and Saturday on who has your energy
Mm.
and how to reclaim your energy. With Miss Gianna Boyd, we have Miss Ferguson who's going to be coming and talking about how to tell your story, which
Mm.
you've touched on as well. So, how to use your story to heal. So, just bear with us a moment, and we're going to show you all what you can come out and how you can wrap yourself in wellness next January. All right. Wrapped in wellness. This is a
Be nice.
vision that came about in 2018. Um, it was a one-day event. In November 2019, we were able to have that event. And then we, of course, because of COVID, we were looking to have it in person again, but transferred over to a virtual summit, which turned into a 3-day virtual summit of phenomenal speakers. And so this is the first time we'll be able to bring it back live
Mm.
again. And it will be a weekend of wellness. It is for everyone, men and women. It's time for us to get well together. Um, you will see some of the guest speakers that are going to be holding sessions. You'll see some of them on some of our upcoming shows as well.
Excited.
Um, I'm so excited to have it. We will see, hopefully, we'll see Miss Marissa um, there. If not, we will still have a virtual form of this because people are already asking, is there going to be a virtual version? So we still may do a 1 day virtual session where we could bring in some of our
Oh,
speakers who can
wow.
make it personally. So we'll open up that opportunity as well.
Okay.
But it's going to be a phenomenal time. It kicks off that Friday, goes through Sunday. You saw Dr. Vicki Johnson of Soul Wealth will be closing us out on Sunday. And then there's also a phenomenal event that Saturday evening that we're actually partnering with the She Is Free collective that brings Miss Tony Jones, who is a major affirmation artist, and she'll be coming and performing that Saturday night as well. So
Woohoo!
it is a weekend full
Yes.
of goodness. And when we talk about those well, we're talking about eating well, moving well, the mental well, loving well, heal well, be well. So we bring in people that can pour into those wells, and we're kicking it off in January because 2023 I think is going to be a big year shifting year for a lot of people, and you want to make
Wow.
sure that you have armed yourself and that you have prepared yourself mentally for what is to come. So I invite you to come out to Wrapped in Wellness. Tickets are on sale at the Bitly um, that is scrolling across the screen there. So you can get your tickets now. They are still at the early bird price. So I would go ahead and lock it in. Once you lock it in, you will also be able to get a special on the room block for the hotel that we're at, which is the Old Town Hampton Inn in Old Town Alexandria. 15 minutes from Reagan, 7 minutes from the National Harbor. You don't want to miss it. So I thank you so much, Miss Marissa, for coming on. You mentioned Put Away. I want to make sure I give you a couple more minutes to just kind of tell everyone about your
Okay.
nonprofit as well,
Yes.
because you do some phenomenal work with it. I still
Thank
need
you.
to order my ornament. She had make sure you mentioned the ornament and how
Yes,
to
ma'am.
support you in that way. And then we will get some final thoughts from you.
Well, I have a nonprofit organization that's dedicated to the cancer community. It's called the Putaway Cancer Foundation. So Putaway is two separate words, Putt and then AWAY, cancer.org is my website. So Put Away Cancer, Put with two T's, putawaycancer.org. And so the reason that I started my organization is because my sister is my personal cancer warrior. It was because of her battle that I decided that that was the community that I wanted to serve in. Um, I have been now working in my organization since 2015. And so that's been 7 years. Actually, it was my birthday present to myself to do something to impact the cancer community. So at first it started off me giving back to American Cancer Society for my 40th birthday because I felt I'm a larger than life person. I'm a special person. I wanted my birthday to be equally as special. And so a pajama jammy jam was not going to do it. So I decided to give my birthday away to American Cancer Society because their mantra is to give more birthdays. But in doing that, the Lord told me that's not why I gave that to you. He
Mm.
said he gave it to me to bless the community. He wanted me to touch the persons that were going to be assisted by the works of my organization. So what we did is that we are a legal 501c3 organization, but we raise money, we do events throughout the year in order to gift financial donations to persons battling cancer. We have
Mm.
a set amount of $250 that we give per person. Their diagnosis is their only qualification. But because we are a 501c3, they do have to complete a one-page application that has to be signed by a doctor to validate that they had been diagnosed, in fact, with cancer. And then in December, this month, this is our giving season, we give away the donations to all that applied. So that's what I do. Male, female, child, adult. You have no age requirement. You have no economic requirement.
Mm.
We gift that donation to anyone that's in need. Well, that applies. And then also in the spring, we also have a scholarship for graduating Texas high school seniors. They can go anywhere they want to college, but they have to graduate from a Texas high school. We have scholarships of $750 and $500 that we gift via a scholarship competition. And so we're all about working within that community. We do the persons themselves and a youth that's been impacted by cancer by way of the scholarship. So that is what my organization does. I'm a family nonprofit, so we do a annual miniature golf tournament because I know nothing about golf. I can be cute in my little golf uniform, but I don't know nothing about golf. And so miniature golf is a fun activity that all ages participate in. So September and October each year, we'll do a miniature golf tournament. So that's in a nutshell why I started it, what we do. And I'm sorry, we have ornaments. You mentioned the ornament. You can go on my website at putawaycancer.org and order an ornament. It's just $10. It's an ornament, but you can also use it as a decal because it also has a sticker piece that you can suck on it. I'm sorry, I just moved, so I don't have my stuff with me.
That's okay. Like so it's on the website though. They can
see on the website. And we also have calendars. It's the first time we've ever done a calendar. The chairman of my board, Miss Adrienne Van, came up with this beautiful concept to have a photo shoot of our cancer warriors. And from that, we put together a calendar. When I say the pictures are gorgeous.
Awesome.
I mean, she had them custom dressed. We had them ordained by paparazzi jewelry. And then she did all the makeup because she's a makeup artist. Bad photo shoot and an interview, honey, was. And then we put it into a calendar. So we're selling calendars for $10 for 2023. So if anybody like to purchase a calendar, also on my website. So that's the Put Away Cancer Foundation.
Awesome. Well, we would definitely like to assist and participate. Of course, like you said, I wear many hats. So Boutique Essentials is my kind of online boutique, mobile boutique. We have our head wrap swag from handmade head wraps that were made in Ghana. So we would like to donate 5 of those head wraps to you so that you can gift them to someone within your organization and so forth. And
yes,
so we will definitely make sure we get those out to you. So we'll pick because we have, I think, 5 different colors. So I want to make sure you have one of each color.
Thank you. And I have to put my order in for my fan. I need my fans.
Your fans. Yes, ma'am. So we'll make sure we'll get those out to you. I'm so honored to have had you on. Our first show had to be delayed when I was a little under the weather last week.
Okay.
But I was so glad that we were able to get this second episode in. And so you are technically officially the first guest who was able to join us, even though it will say episode 2. But you all make sure you follow us. This will drop on the Joy is Just Over Yonder page, as well as on our YouTube, and then a link will go out. But make sure you take a look and come back to episode 2. This is season 5, Journey from Hurt to Healing with Marissa McKinnies. And we just thank you all for joining us. And we will look forward to your comments and stay tuned for our next taping, which will be with Miss Nicole. And again, we're going to be talking about healing and taking care of yourself when you are the caregiver. That is another very important subject of making sure you're taking care of yourself while you are taking care of a loved one. Yes, absolutely. So continue to heal well and be well. Thank you all again for joining us for our Wellness Convos on the newly reiterated Joy is Just Over Yonder podcast. Peace and